What is up, everybody? Welcome to, I think this is only the second time in over almost 90 episodes that I've ever gone live for the Social Media Mindset podcast. And so, you guys, maybe you're going to hang out with us live. Maybe you're not. Maybe you don't give two craps about what we're about to do. And if that's the case, you're going to miss out on something really incredible because I get to interview a lot of people, and sometimes I get to interview like my actual friends in real life. And Lane, you happen to be one of them.
I'm
So,
honored to be your friend, actually.
and I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm honored that you have joined me on this live edition of the podcast today. And so, for those of you watching live, this is going to feel weird for a second because I'm going to technically stop and then start back as if it's the actual recording so that my editor doesn't hate me and he has to make tons of cuts. So I'm going to intro Lane in just a minute. We're going to start this over. And guys, get ready for a life-changing episode of the Social Media Mindset. Ready? Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Social Media Mindset podcast. And I am joined with a friend that I don't just call a friend because that's what you do on a podcast. He's like a real friend in real life. We actually ate breakfast together this morning. And so I've got, guys, to just say this guy's name, my friend Lane, and you can see his last name on the video, but if you're listening to the podcast, you're just gonna have to wait and figure out his last name later. But Lane, you and I met years and years ago, and you have a pretty, I wish we could just devote a whole episode to like your story because like you've got stories about Willie Nelson. You've got stories about Taylor Swift. You've got stories about Google, and I mean it's unbelievable. You've lived the life of four people. But today it's all about our Facebook ads dying. So before we jump into this, what do you want the people to know about the Lane Gregory? As I had to edit this 4 times to get that right.
Well, somebody took Lane Gregory as a handle, so I had to be like, I had to be, the Lane Gregory. It's like,
who the heck is that guy?
Yeah, me. You're going to see a lot of people online that are going to post things that are just going to be sound bites that are going to come in and say this about data or this about ads or this about a platform or this. The one thing I can always say is that I was in the music industry for over a decade. I built campaigns, social campaigns before there was even a social network. We started way back in the day with like Yahoo chat, like actually like back then, and AOL chat rooms. Like if you think like, I always joke about it. Like if you think like people get they get hurt on the internet now, man, back in Yahoo chat days, it was just like, it was real time. I hate your face. You don't even know what I look like, man. But we created those campaigns a long time ago. We created digital street teams to help our bands, get out of Texas and go all the way around the globe.
Yeah.
We worked really hard on building that, and then come along the advent of ads, right, on digital ads.
Yep.
And the first real company that we could do in the music industry was social media, right? We could buy ads through there. We did a placement ads. We did a lot of those, like the banners and stuff like that you see on CNN to ESPN, you name it, for album releases. But they weren't targeted specifically even back then because I'm old, right?
That's right.
They started building a better mousetrap, if you will, over time, and that's all applied data, right? So really, what ads come down to is that the platforms will either that sell data to these companies to do it. They pull data from your location, what you choose, what you like, everything in the world. So like even this right here, there's data being pulled from you and I, right? And from the people that like this post or like this thing or watch this or go from here to my Twitter or whatever, right? There's data applied in action and do that. So once we started getting into that, once we started seeing that was like legit the real deal, I ended up working for one of the largest digital ad agencies on the planet. We're talking millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in ad spend on there. and ended up building massive campaigns and worked in every vertical you can imagine, from automotive to bar and nightclub, or what do they call it, service industry, to you name it, across the board. Like, we did real estate agents, we did everything. I focused a lot on live events, live music things, trying to target the audience that had never heard of this artist, but like this artist, right? So we did A/B tests and ran it out. So all in all, I've done over 22,000 positive ROI positive campaigns.
That's kind of a lot, 22,000.
It's a little bit. It's
just a few.
We generated over $3 billion for our clients.
Wow.
20 years. That was before. I don't have my agency anymore. No Mas Agencio. Right. That's Spanish for I got a different job. So one of my buddies, he always does that. He walks up, he speaks Spanish fluently, and he knows I don't. So he'll walk up and say something in Spanish. I'll be like, what does that mean? He'll be like, I want a beer. Like, that's not, no, beer's cerveza. And he's like, I'm like, that's work. What? So, but he messes with me. So you get that joke. So
that's right.
Back at you. Anyway, so I've got a lot of background in here. I've done this for a long time. I've worked with everything that you can imagine when it comes to ad platforms, whether it be programmatic ads or whether it be, it doesn't matter, whether it be absolute bid ads, it doesn't matter. We've done it all. I've done print ads, you run the gamut on it. But over the last 10 years, we've focused solely on data allocation. We can go back into Cambridge Analytica when the Obama campaign used it and it was good. And then the Trump campaign used it and it was bad. And then Cambridge Analytica took the fall because they were migrating too much data, right?
Right.
And that's really where this starts, by the way. Our little story of our Facebook ads dying, I say yes, because there's and yeah, I know, I see the smile, but
I love it.
Here's why. We just talked about the fact that companies that use this data get all of these data points. That's what they're called. So anything that you do, a like, a movement, a GPS, a comment, a text message, a phone call, a TV show that you watch, anything you stop too long on a page, that's data points that are being pulled in to target you as the consumer. Well, great. I mean, honestly, there's two ways to look at it. Either that's amazing, they're giving me exactly what I want before I know it.
Sure.
Or, God Almighty, that's crazy. Get that away from me. It's hocus pocus.
And it's probably both. Yeah.
I used to have a client that used to call what I did black magic. Oh, I don't know what that black magic you do is. I'm like, oh, data science, but and of course I used to send him like jokingly, like old like fake made up newspaper clippings of the Salem witch trials, because like, that's black magic. I'm like, or it's ad buying, type of a deal. But the reason why I think, and this is what engaged this conversation, is I believe that ads are dying, is because we've now entered an era where Apple started off and said, we are going to restrict data. Right? Now they did that because there were already massive lawsuits around the world. In the United Kingdom, you had the one in Germany. I mean, hell, you look at some parts of Asia, they just shut off social media. Right?
Wow.
That could be a conversation about First Amendment or free speech or whatever.
Sure.
But they just shut it off, or they regulated it a lot. You look at when TikTok came out, you as a member of the Department of Defense, you couldn't have TikTok on your phone when you went into the Pentagon. So, I mean, like, all of those things, you couldn't have an Apple Watch tied into your phone that were tied into your earbuds when you went into the Pentagon or the White House or any secured room, right? Because of the data capture that TikTok was doing, right?
Yeah.
So I believe, to get ahead of the curve, of course, I don't work for Google. I do not, or Apple. I do not know anything about what they did, but just my observation, and a lot of people in the observation, a lot of people in the industry, they throw this out there too. I think it was to get ahead of the curve.
Sure.
But regardless of why they did it, Apple said no more just carte blanche data sharing with Facebook, with Instagram, with TikTok, with Snapchat, with Twitter, with LinkedIn, which are and what you and I do for a living, they are ad platforms. They're not just social media. They are not social media platforms to me. They are ad and data aggregate platforms, because that's what they do. They pull your data. They pull that so that
Yeah.
they can sell you again. And then they what's the best part? Cross-pollinate, because they share
Sure.
that content with each other and they sell that on the open market. There's companies like iSimplify that you can go out. I believe it's iSimplify that you can go out and you can run programmatic ads. Multiview does it as well. I mean, there's companies out there that just buy all of this data to put together for packages. Well, I said it. I think you and I had this conversation about it was before Christmas when I think Apple announced that, and I said, "Watch, Google will do it next," because now you've got Apple and you've got Android, right? They are the carriers. They're the devices. Sorry, not the carriers. They're the device owners, right? And I don't remember. I know we were talking about it, but I know I said it multiple times to a lot of people. Watch out, because Android's next. You can bet your butt Android's next. And sure enough, a month and a half ago, Google and Android came out and said, well, you know what? Data privacy is really super important to us too. So we're going to restrict this. And now a lot of people on the outside looking in that don't work in the industry went, well, that's good. Cool. All right. So my data is not being shared. And the second I landed in London last month, it was the first thing that popped up. Do you want what to be shared? And I mean, it was like a checklist. Okay, click. Like I was filling out a resume, right? Wow. And the same thing happened when I landed in Dubai. Again, it's different countries' restrictions of what you're going to have and what you're able to do. So it was kind of, their laws are already in place, but I just knew that this was going to happen. And I know you and I talked about it. We talked about it with my staff at CrowdShare. We talked about where we're getting ads. I know that I've said it in a few talks and a few podcasts, but I said, watch out, because then once this happens, you've got two companies that own everything, that own the data. So whereas I don't believe that Facebook ads are dying, I believe that your premium costs are going to rise. I believe that your targeted ability is going to drop. I believe that your focused, your campaigns that are hyper targeted and hyper focused are going to fail, or not fail. They're just not going to get the penetration that as a company that you want.
Sure.
You're going to pay more, get less. That's the bottom line.
So let me try to redirect this into like the layman version, because you and I have been friends for a long time. You're already talking way over my head. And, and what's interesting, right, is people could put you and I on stage and they would say, these are two social media experts. And it couldn't be more different of how you and I are considered the expert of social media, right? You're really, truly more of a social media expert than I think I am. And so help me understand, like, for the average realtor, a lender, a small business owner, right? Because these higher prices, right, it's not going to have as big of an effect on a large company that has the ability to scale up, trim margins a little bit, but still kind of manage that
system overbid, right?
But how is our Facebook ads dying? How is this going to shift the way we do social media as just kind of local people in local markets?
It impacts the local market more than it impacts, like to your point, a national or international market. Massively, because you're already in a situation where, especially in the real estate world, where there's a lot of saturation, right? So there's a lot of people out there that are trying to run these ads. Now, Facebook already, really, really mitigated that ability last year, 2 years, 3 years ago, where they made it to where it was almost difficult. You can't target for income. You can't really target for this or this, that, and the other. So they already made it pretty difficult. But let's say that you want to do a lookalike campaign, or you want to do a behavioral targeting campaign. What's going to make it more difficult is your costs are going to go up. So our main thing in advertising is ROAS, return on advertising spend. Okay. Right. So if your percentage of that ROAS is, if you get a big return, that's good. So like a campaign we did last year, a company we worked for last year was in the roofing industry. We spent $15,800 on ads and it generated $640,000 worth of revenue.
Wow.
Right. Well, that's easier to target because there's events that take place, hail damage, tornado, wind, stuff like that. Right. In the real estate world, you're doing more branding. You're pushing it out there. You're like, hey, I'm Lane Gregory and I'm with JPAR, whatever, I'm with Pinnacle, and I want to brand me, right? I'm with Compass. I moved here. So you're really pushing that out there to to get your name known, right? Because you can't, there's not a whole lot of services a real estate agent can offer unless it's a concierge service that is specific that somebody else can't offer, right? So, and that's why you need to, that branding and stuff is going to be really key. But the effect that has with the ad buying is that now everybody's bidding on that realtor brand, right? And so if I bid $3, I'm just saying $3 a click, or if I bid for impressions, and let's just say that my total is $50. My total ad spend is $50 over 5 days, $10 a day. Not enough, by the way, by any stretch of the imagination. But let's just say it for round numbers. So you put that out there. Well, so is Jennifer. So is this person. So is this person. So is this person. So is this person. So then it becomes, well, okay, I want to be more specific on my data, my ads, that are my set that I'm building here. So then you start targeting, zip codes, and you start targeting this, and this. Well, great. They produce a number for you. Hey, it's not $50. With $50, you can reach 34 to 71 people a day. Well, for $500, you can reach 340 people, right? Well, it used to be $500 for 20,000 people.
Right.
So like I said, your costs are going to go up, your ability here. I mean, you know me, man. The first thing I'm going to talk about is advocacy, marketing, influencer marketing, and affiliate marketing. Matter of fact, I'm going to touch on affiliate marketing real quick. And for those that don't know what affiliate marketing is where you get somebody who essentially every time they mention you and somebody buys from you with their name, they get a piece of it. It's pretty much commission based, if you call it that, but an affiliate can be across the globe, right?
Right.
I was at Affiliate World in Dubai at the end of February, early March, and a guy named Jason Akatif walks out on stage, and you talk about a big dog. Dude is the agency owner of AD4 Agency. He owns he's the man. He's it. And in my world, him and Nick Shackelford both like back to back that day on stage. Jason walks out and goes, "Hi, my name's Jason Akatif, and ads are dead." And I went, okay. He's telling thousands of affiliates that ad buying is done.
Right.
And this is a guy that, from my understanding, they ran something like I talked to him and I don't remember the exact number, so I could be way off, but they're talking about 30,000 ads a month that they run. So for them to come out there and make a comment like that, that's bold, right?
Yeah.
And then following it up where you've got Nick Shackelford, who's also like the e-com guy, and e-com thrives on ad buying. He comes out and goes, ad buying's dead. Well, crap. Why? Well, it goes to my theory. The fact is that the ads come through mobile devices more than anything else. Because, this right here goes everywhere with you. It sits in your pocket, sits on your dashboard, sits in your cup holder, sits on the table, has conversations, passively listens to it. You got text messages that go out. You've got, you and I sitting at breakfast this morning, right? We were at the lovely cafe in Keller, Texas, where you and I got to meet and talk about business, talk about family, we talked about religion, we talked about our passions and who we are as people, future with CrowdShare moving forward, what I'm having your company do, which, by the way, if you guys don't know Kyle and the content compounding crew, way missing out. I'm taking a project global and in the next, 30 to 60 days, and I hire Kyle.
Yeah, buddy.
Because he bought me breakfast this morning, but just because I really believe in what they do. So there you go.
You did try to buy, but then I can't tell, you accidentally like left your wallet in the car,
But I turned around and walked out.
No, so you went to go get your wallet, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay for all of it while Lane's going to get his wallet. You reap what you sow.
I'll take it. Maybe next time I'll get my wallet again.
Something's going to come back to me because I chose to buy breakfast this morning. And I think something's going to come back to you because your heart was that you tried to buy breakfast this morning.
I wanted to. I definitely did.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about breakfast. I want to, Lane, let's continue this conversation because later in that post, you talked about watch bait. And this is what excites me because I am so anti this way of selling, because clickbait and watch bait are different, right? Where watch bait is not like totally different, but kind of different. But watch bait is like, I'm going to give you the one thing to change your business. And then you don't say it until like 20 minutes later in the video. Right. So
or you put a link at the bottom where they have to buy it
in order to get it.
Yeah.
Right. So talk about, because this is what a lot, right? This is what a lot of realtors are being taught to do. This is what a lot of lenders are being taught to do, where you hold back a piece of the information.
Yeah.
To try to get them to click into something, right? Give you an address, give you an email address, give you a phone number, whatever. So like you mentioned in the post, there's several things to do to overcome the way Facebook's kind of cracking down on this, but just kind of open up that conversation.
Well, all right. So I want to back up just a little bit on that, because there's different variances of watch bait too, right? And there's a very, 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 very big group of people that get millions of views on their ads or on their videos only because they're trying to monetize their videos, right?
Yeah.
So if they monetize their videos, people, by people coming to it and watching it. But it's things like, I cannot believe her reaction when she caught her man doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you go into it and it's like, it's cheesy, right? They get to there and then it's all set up, right? It's all things to set up to leading to the end. And the end, it's almost like a Benny Hill show. No. Like it's crazy. So Facebook was like, okay, you gotta cut that crap out. And YouTube did that a while ago, by the way. YouTube started that process by demonetizing platforms that were doing it. Look at Mr. Beast. Matter of fact, his was brilliant. They sent basically a thing to Mr. Beast. From my understanding, I'm not in his legal department. I don't work for the company. I'm talking just on what we've heard in the industry. But from my understanding, they sent him basically a hey, you're gonna mess up. If you're messing up, you're about to get bumped. And he went, nope. And now, $54 million later last year in earnings. Right. So there's a proper way to do that. And that's what you were asking me. And honestly, you started off with using accurate, informative headlines, right? So maybe instead of what her reaction would be hilarious interaction between a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
Sure.
Right. Misunderstandings or something like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is that they talk about adding your own voice. And this goes into what you and I are talking about running ads for. And I'm shifting gears back to, actually doing this for generating, your brand awareness or sales, is add your own voice. Be you, be authentic, be you. Right. Okay. And that's one of the things that, you and I have talked about 1,000 times. People get on social media and they just fake it till you make it. I can't stand that. But now social media is like, no, right? And so being more honest and being, adding your voice to it, being original and being authentic go under that. But I use that as a very big, a very big point to make on there as difference. Being original is one thing, because if you want to copy, like, let's say that every time you posted something, I copied it and put it in my notes, right? And then a week later, I posted it because you got good traction. That people don't think this, but social medias have algorithms. They know what you're doing. They know original content, authentic. Look, love him or hate him, Gary Vee is going to drop some knowledge on you, whether you like it or not. And my opinion on Gary. I've talked about that. But here's the thing: he sits there and he is authentically him, right?
Right.
And let's go back to Mr. Beast on YouTube. Authentically him. I love watching real estate agents. I love watching them get online and be goofy, and people like, was it Christy Maloof? And yeah, and then she's just bubbly and she jumps around.
Shout out Chrissy.
There you go. Well, I've got another shout. Danny Hampton. She does the same thing. Go find Danny Hampton on social media, because she does the same thing. Goofy.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and have lunch with Chrissy or Danny, guess what? That's what you're going to get.
Right.
That authenticity is really important. And the other thing is, on videos, you have the choice to create a thumbnail of what is going to pop up. Do that. Because it shows effort. It shows not just I'm slapping this on the wall and seeing if it works. I'm putting effort behind it. That's a big deal, and that has a lot of things. Now, That's, that the watch bait and the clickbait, that's just one issue that these platforms are having. The rest of them, there's so many other things. We could do an entire episode
Oh
over
man.
each issue that's shutting them down. So, I
Well,
mean,
let me ask you this, because I just don't genuinely know. Like when somebody's trying to run an ad and like they're not very active on that account in general,
mhm.
like maybe they just have the account open for the sake of pushing out ad content. Will they struggle to convert at, like, will it be harder for them than the person that's also putting out video content of themselves, teaching into the camera, showing home tours? Like, is there data to show that there's a significant difference when
Yeah.
there's like an obvious person representing that page and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's an authority. So there's an authority score. Authority. I'm saying it wrong. Um, there is a score. It's called something. I can't remember it at the moment. But it is about authenticity. It is about that. It's about pushing it out there. And I mean, just like any other ad platform, like with Google, if I want to run Google ads, I've got to have one stellar of a quality score to beat the guy next to me, so that I can pay less than he does to reach a broader audience.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's where social media is going to go anyway, eventually, but it's going to be after kind of like, Google and Apple tame, the social media companies. But yeah, I mean, if you're not out there posting, if you're not on there and making stuff, and that's hard for me. I mean, you and I've had this conversation. It is so difficult. I don't like even like, I like you and talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't like getting online and doing all this stuff because I'm not natural at it. Now, you've seen me. I'll jump up on a stage though and speak in front of 30,000 people and won't even bother me a bit.
Right.
But it's like, you get in front of the camera and you're like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. I just like things. I don't know what to do with my hands, that kind of thing. But the people that can get out of their comfort zone and do that and show their personality, dude, man, not only is it going to help them because people recognize them. And again, I go back to Chrissy and Danny on that. But it also does help because they're starting to get clicks, they're starting to get views, they're starting to get and so when the algorithm sees that, they're more apt to show their platform, their ads more. And I'm not going to say that any of these platforms regulate or throttle any of the ads, but things happen. Again, I don't work at Facebook, so I can't tell you.
That's right. And things do happen. And I want, before we kind of wrap this up, talk to people about, because it says CrowdShare under your name. And so obviously people have read it. And I'm assuming most of the people that are going to listen to this episode or watching it live right now, they probably don't know what it is, because it's kind of a hidden gem that is on its way, into fruition. Talk to us about, like, what is CrowdShare, and then why should we care?
Well, man, I appreciate the perfect segue into my company.
Yes.
So CrowdShare is a social media management platform. It allows you to create content, schedule content, and push it out there. Where we're different is we actually let you harness the power of your crowd, meaning that you get to choose who shares your content. So CrowdShare works pretty easily. You choose how many people that you want on your platform, right? How many people are going to share for you? Like, let's go back to the real estate thing. Let's say that, but I'm a broker and I've got all my team that's in there, plus the other people, my friends and family that loves others.
Yeah.
They call it the sphere of influence for a reason. I create a channel on CrowdShare. I create a unique code to my company. I ask my advocates, affiliates, influencers. I ask my friends, my family, my other realtors that are in the office to download CrowdShare and to use that code, that unique code. They connect their social media. None of them intertwine, by the way. They connect their social media. And whenever I create a post and schedule it and choose them, they get a push notification that pops up and lets them know that they have a share. In fact, while we were here, I have a push notification.
There it is.
Because of the CrowdShare got. So the push notification goes in, pops up on the phone. They open the app. The advocate does. The person that's resharing, they press one button. It reshares directly to their Facebook feed, Instagram stories, TikTok if it's a video, and Snapchat, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So It's the organic principles. So yeah, when Jason and Nick Shackelford stood on that stage in Dubai and said, Facebook ads are dying, I went, they go, we need to find a platform that allows people to share. And I went,
yeah, me.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
let me put this in layman's terms again for people, because I'm not smart enough to know what you know. Guys, y'all know, right? Facebook shows your stuff to very few of the total people that you're actually friends with there. Instagram is showing your stuff to very few of the people that are actually following you there. And so
7.5% on average.
and so we love to go, man, I have 5,000 friends. Woo. But what's 7.5% of 5,000? And then what's even less than that if your content's even garbage? And you might be sitting at the 2% mark. Right. And so what I love about what CrowdShare is doing is it is always allowing the people that matter to see you all the time because of that push notification. And so just first and foremost, whether anyone even shares anything, bro, you're top of mind to the people you want to be top of mind to, right? They don't have to go, oh man, I didn't catch your video. I didn't catch your post. They're getting a push notification that the Lane Gregory, Coach Kyle Draper just shared this content. And then guys, we all have people in our lives that would say, man, I didn't know you wanted me to share your stuff. I would be happy to share your stuff. No one's ever asked me to share your stuff. And so now you have a tool where you can cast vision to the right people of like, hey, you live in the colony. I've got a listing coming up in the colony. I'm going to share it, and you're going to get a push notification that says Kyle just shared a listing from the colony. With the click of one button, your friend can now share that listing on your behalf. And it's so easy.
Well,
and this is what I love about it.
It's also hyper local. Like you just said, you can choose that area. And most of my friends that live in the colony, they have friends that live in the colony.
Right.
So if they're the ones sharing from me, they're hyper local. Now, make no bones about this. You need to have ads in there as well. You need to be targeting a broader spectrum that isn't just your friends and family. Everybody should do it, whether it's real estate, automotive, service industry, doesn't matter. You know, it needs to be in there because you want that wide net.
Right.
But you need to have both running at the same time. You need to have your sphere of influence sharing on your behalf, and you need to have ads running at the same time. And it does help, to your point earlier, it does help because you're putting content out there and you're constantly, moving and shaking, as it were.
It's huge, man. And I think most people know this, but I don't think they understand it, that when you're running an ad, right, most of the time you're running that at strangers. That's going to take a lot of time to buy into you, to trust you, to really feel like you're a person that I want to call. But when we can get people organically to share our stuff, now we're being seen by the people that they can make a snap judgment decision because they already have enough data about you because y'all went to high school together, or you went to college together, you go to church together, or whatever, to make that decision. And so I just think in my world of real estate and mortgage, there is so much value in CrowdShare. And it's why I'm coming into partnership with you and representing the CrowdShare brand, as an affiliate marketer myself for you guys, because I believe in the power of what you guys are doing. And that's why you were in Dubai 3 weeks ago talking with really, really, really wealthy people about it.
Maybe.
Or maybe you weren't. I don't know.
Maybe I wasn't. No, I was.
It was not the Lane Gregory. That was the other Lane Gregory.
The only Lane
for legal reasons was maybe doing something like that. But bro, before I let you go, thank you for coming on and
my pleasure.
Thank you doing this, man, because this is your side of this world. It is not my side. And so could you just give what's one closing tip that just in your world of social, which is very different than mine, what's a tip or a warning, that you could give the listeners to be better at what they're doing?
Well, I mean, I can give a tip and a warning all at the same time.
Okay, great.
Be authentic. You being somebody else is going to fail because you're not good at it. You are not good at being somebody else. You are not good at being, the top of you, this person over here, this person. You're good at you. Be you. I can't remember who said it's a famous quote. There's only one like you.
Yeah.
Be you. And that's awesome because of your eccentricities, picadillos, they come out in that. Be you. Now, unless what's the old thing is be you unless you sucks. Don't be that guy. Don't be that version of it, but be you, because here's the thing. People are going to figure it out.
Yeah.
They do not like
so true.
when you sell them online and you meet them in person, and those are two different worlds.
Yeah.
You've now conned them. They don't like that. They don't
Nope.
like it. And they won't use you. And here's to your point before, they're not going to recommend you.
Totally.
Because they don't trust you. So that's
I love it.
My advice, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on.
So, yeah, bro. Heck yeah. We're gonna have to do it again to break down some more of this Facebook ad knowledge for people. How do people find you?
Well, right below is at the Lane Gregory. It's everywhere. I had all my stuff, as you remember, wiped clean. I had somebody that made sure of that. So I have a new Twitter, a new Facebook, a new Snapchat, a new Instagram, but it's all the Lane Gregory. So find me, connect with me. If I can answer any questions, believe it or not, I don't charge to answer questions. I believe that we should be in a world.
I love
I love Elon Musk on the fact that he would rather give open source information than charge for it. So if I can help, I'm here.
Okay, can we do one final thing that I wasn't planning on doing?
Aye, Captain.
Can you tell a shortened version of the Willie Nelson story?
Yeah, I was on tour with a Texas artist years and years and years and years ago, and we got to play a place called Lukenbach. And I went up on with this artist, and I got to go up on the stage with them as we were tuning guitars. We're doing sound check, right? And it's just us playing guitar and just in awe that we're in Lukenbach, Lukenbach, Texas,
Yeah.
It is legendary. We're there, man. We get to be there. We're on stage and we're playing guitar and we're just neat. And this guy way off in the distance is doing knobs and everything because he's making sure that we have, the sound right. And he doesn't look at us like he's in any shock. And all of a sudden we sitting there playing and I hear this nasally voice. Y'all mind if I play? Here's Willie Nelson.
Oh my gosh.
And he sat there and played with us and for a little bit. And I don't think I actually knew how to play a chord. I was like, bring, bring, bring. It was crazy. So it was pretty neat.
Dude, I love it. And you know why I had you tell that? Because then I can watch bait people and be like, hey, you want to hear a story about Willie Nelson? Watch till the end of this.
Watch till the end.
Boom.
All right, brother, man. I love you to death, Kyle. You're a rock star. Bro.
Thanks for coming on. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back with another episode with maybe a cool person. Probably not somebody that knows Willie Nelson, so probably not as cool as Lane. But I'm going to do my best.
Clickbait disclaimer: don't know Willie Nelson. Met him a couple times.
I mean that you know that to me that makes sense. So,
that makes
all right, everybody. See ya.